It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back. This is hour number 2 of Three-Man Front. Pat Smith, Landrum Roberts, Motley Robinson. We're live here at Social Taco. Conrad Van Orden in our studio high atop Red Mountain. The Charles Bediako case got a decision yesterday afternoon. He was ruled ineligible. Joining us now on the Higginbotham hotline, he covers the Alabama Crimson Tide for AL.com. He was there in the courtroom last week, and he witnessed it all. Nick Kelly joins us here on Three-Man Front. Nick, I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday.
Hey, Pat, good to be with you. Yeah, finally got some clarity. So I think Alabama and Charles and everyone can move forward now.
I wanted to ask you now, it is hindsight and it's in the rearview mirror, but I am curious. As you were sitting there in the courtroom and you were listening to both sides present their cases to the judge and the judge's responses back to the attorneys, did you have a feeling one way or another? I know it's speculative now, but you can think back. Did you feel walking out of that courtroom that perhaps the judge was leaning one way or another, or did you feel like it was still 50-50 at that point?
Yeah, it was hard to tell. I mean, because so many people ask me that, whether it just be friends or what have you. Like, I truly didn't know, and I would have been dishonest if I told you that I knew. But one person did ask me, like, you know, if you have to pick, like, which would you think happens? And my gut feeling is what happened. And, of course, it's easy to say in hindsight, but that is what I believe, just because it felt like there were enough holes poked in the plaintiff, Charles Bediako's kind of argument, that just based on what the judge was asking, that it felt like he wasn't necessarily believing in some ways that Bediako was meeting the thresholds he needed to get this injunction. But Pruitt also poked some holes, Pruitt being the judge, also poked some holes in the NCAA's argument. So I thought that there was a possibility he could still rule in Bediako's favor. Now, that didn't happen, but their arguments were not foolproof, if you will.
And you kind of answered it there, but I'm going to double down in just your opinion. So Judge Pruitt is weighing out the NCAA's argument, Charles Bediako and his camp, their argument. Ultimately, though, if you're just guessing, why did Judge Pruitt decide there on the home floor to rule against an Alabama basketball player?
Yeah, like I said, I think that it didn't meet the thresholds that Bediako needed to be able to be granted this injunction, if that makes sense. But, like, he didn't believe that, or Pruitt communicated that irreparable harm didn't seem to be there. And I'm paraphrasing, but that was one of the key tenets of, hey, Bediako needs to get this injunction. Because that's the thing, and that's the distinction to make with this, and I'll try not to make it too legalese filled, but essentially Pruitt was deciding whether or not that, hey, you get this relief, but while this all plays out in the courtroom, while this all plays out in the court system, because this was not like the trial. This was not like the ultimate decision in the case. I mean, if this proceeds, Charles could win this case. He could be awarded a lot of financial damages, essentially. So this case is not over per se, but this was to say, hey, can he play while this case is playing out? Because these cases the justice system moves slowly. So he just didn't meet the thresholds to be able to get that. And so Judge Pruitt was essentially saying that he didn't see that Charles couldn't be, how do I say this? He didn't see that Charles was going to be harmed by not being able to play until this is over, or that Charles couldn't get essentially the money that he would lose through this after the fact. So I kind of meandered there, and there's a lot to unpack, but that's essentially what the reason he ruled the way he did is that he didn't see that these things that you have to have present to grant this kind of thing were present. So yeah. Anyway, I'm really all over the place. It's hard to break it down.
No, that was outstanding. Nick Kelly joins us, kind of giving us, I guess, the post-game script to the Charles Bediako situation. I did not see it. I suppose there is not an appeals process, or he will not pursue that. I suppose, because I've not seen anything that would give me the indication that Bediako is moving forward with anything else.
Yeah, I don't know what the next moves could be because, again, this was not, hey, a jury made a ruling. Like,
Right.
this is not a judge made, well, and judges wouldn't in this case anyway, but that this wasn't like a, okay, this is over, this case is over. This is he didn't get this thing he asked for as this case plays out. It's probably the best way to explain it. So whether there can be a quote-unquote appeal, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't quite have the answer to that. But, yeah, essentially this would make it hard for him to get anything before the end of the season. And that was ultimately what he was trying to have happen, was for him to be able to play out this year. I mean, there's only, a month left in SEC play, and then if you're lucky, 3-4 weeks after that. So so essentially that's where it leaves it. And whether something could be appealed, I don't know. But this is not a final decision that could be appealed like a jury trial.
We have our own opinions, and we've stated them, but want yours. For those with the outcry of Alabama should be penalized, Charles Bediako is now deemed ineligible, the vacation of wins, missed the tournament. We've heard it all. How do you believe that ultimately the NCAA Tournament Committee will view this, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know because I'm not in their heads. But, I mean, it's such a small sample. It's such a small, okay, these are 5 games, 3 they won, 2 they lost. If you actually look at some of the analytics, Bart Torvik does a pretty good job. They actually were better without Chuck than they were with him. Now, I will put the caveat of they lost to some really good teams. I mean, Florida and Tennessee. Those losses happened, or those numbers happened, and obviously Ruben Chinyulu at Florida did a really good job, and he's a fantastic player. But yeah, I would say the NCAA Tournament Committee more than likely views it as, hey, they have this guy, he's injured now, kind of deal, or they don't have him anymore. And so I think they'd probably view it like that. Will they penalize them? I mean, we'll never know that because they're not going to probably say that. Like, yeah, we penalized them. Like that would maybe be implicit. So we just won't know that. So I just don't see it impacting them majorly in the NCAA tournament. It's not like he played the whole year. He played 5 games. And whether people feel a certain way about it or not, maybe that means you, I don't know, drop them a seed line or something as you're putting it together. But I have a hard time believing that it's going to have some massive implications for where they fall in the NCAA tournament.
Nick Kelly from AL.com joining us here on Three Man Front. So let me ask you about the actual basketball team, not what's going on off the court in a courtroom.
Oh, thank you.
But Bediako did average 10 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 1.4 blocks, played around 21.5 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. Talk to us about this basketball team now, a team that has been beat up for most of the season. And more than anything, Bediako gave you some minutes, gave you more length, and gave Sherrill an opportunity to get a breather now and again.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they added him, right? I mean, that's what it all comes down to in this is Nate Oates saw a need, and he saw an opportunity to add a player that knows their system, that he likes. I mean, Charles Bediako, from all indications, is a good kid. And I said kid, he's 23. But the thing is that he was going to be able to help this team. I mean, it was like a mid-season trade acquisition. Like, hey, you have a need at this spot. Your front court depth is bad. So go and add this guy because the law at the time said you could, or at least try to. And so that's what they did. So I think, yeah, there's a hole there. I mean, that was evident throughout the season before the last couple of weeks that Noah Williamson has not been as good as they needed him to be, and Keaton Bristow's been hurt. And Aiden Sherrill has been a really good player at times, but, yeah, he's one guy. So I think it's a matter of either need Noah Williamson to step up, have a bunch of games like he did against Kentucky, or you have to play some more small ball. I mean, Nate Oates talked about that last night, that they may have to play some more small ball with this team. So, yeah, there's no – I mean, Charles didn't necessarily make them – like, he alone was not some superstar, but he filled a void that they had. And now without him, that void is back there, so they'll have to coach around it.
That is Nick Kelly. Does an outstanding job covering the Alabama Crimson Tide for AL.com. Well, it's I guess you'll find a courtroom somewhere, right? I mean, because you're now like a night reporter for the latest judicial things for AL.com. Didn't I read that somewhere?
It's always fascinating, and I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but I'm always fascinated to learn more about our legal system. But doing it on a regular basis, I'm good.
Back to the X's and O's. Nick, always appreciate your time, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Nick.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, thank you so much. That's Nick Kelly. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, your biggest investment is probably your home, and what protects your home? Well, it starts with your roof right there up top. How about our friends at Noto Roofing? Noto Roofing Company, it's a great locally owned company. Sammy and Matt Noto are the owners. They're brothers. They've been ingrained here in the Birmingham metro community for many years. They don't only serve the Birmingham metro, they serve much of central Alabama, other parts of the state as well. You can find out more by going to notoroofing.com. But your home's roof is one of the most critical components. It provides protection, insulation, and aesthetic appeal. And Chris, one of their talented professionals, he's been in the roofing business for almost 30 years. He's going to come out. He's going to walk the house. He's going to get on the roof. He's going to inspect every single centimeter to make sure, first of all, that your roof is functioning properly. That means flashing around the chimneys, any kind of penetrations that shouldn't be there. They're going to make sure that that's sealed up because they don't want to have to come back and get blamed for somebody else's shoddy work. Noto Roofing. N-O-T-O roofing.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
We will continue on from Social Taco. A nice crowd is starting to gather here on the Taco Terrace. You too can be a part of it. We have got the gold medal mixed doubles curling.
Drop King. Yes.
We got the Americans going up against the Swedish curling team.
All they're good at is fish.
And surströmming.
All
right, more three-man front here on Jocks. It is 11:16. Welcome back in. A great crowd is assembling here on the Taco Terrace. Come on by and you can be a part of the fun. We do have the Olympics on, in which the United States going for a gold medal
Dropkins.
in the mixed doubles curling, taking on the Swedish national team. So we'll see what happens. The Americans, they got the big upset win yesterday against Italy. That Italy was the world champions in the mixed doubles. So we'll see if the Americans can get a gold today. You know, you can get a gold every day when you go out to Courtesy GMC, right off of I-459 in Trussville. Right now, over 50 2026 GMC Sierras on the ground on the 9.5-acre lot. You can get $12,000 off MSRP, all trim levels to choose from. Courtesy has also extended the incredible $399 lease and sign and drive on the 2026 Canyon Elevations in stock. They started with 17, only got about 5 left, so you need to take advantage of this incredible lease deal there at Courtesy GMC. Now, when you buy a new Courtesy GMC, you're going to get a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on all new GMCs. You can check out all the makes and models on certified pre-owned vehicles, extensive pre-owned inventory available as well right there at Courtesy GMC. Hey, if you're looking to sell your vehicle, they're now in the market there at Courtesy. If you're looking for a pre-owned inventory to acquire, that's what they're doing right now. Just stop on by at Courtesy, and they're going to give you a buy bid within 10 minutes. So if you're looking to sell your car, they're looking to purchase nice, valuable pre-owned vehicles. They can give you an answer there in 10 minutes at Courtesy GMC, right off of I-459, exit 32 in Trussville.
Corey Dropkin, who is a part of that wonderful mixed doubles team that's competing for the gold today.
Mm-hmm.
He attended the University of Minnesota Duluth. But this is what I love about the Olympics for a lot of these athletes. He's employed as a realtor and investor there in Duluth, Minnesota. He's got a real job.
Yeah, took some time off.
Yep.
Represent his country.
To go and represent. That's great. I'm trying to figure out if he and his partners, so his mixed doubles partner, and I can't pronounce her last name. Her first name is Corey as well. But he picked her over his former teammate. So I'm trying to see if there's a storyline. Is there a budding romance? Because it does not say that he is involved. And I'm just wondering if maybe, a lot of those late-night practices led to love.
It's just like the figure skaters.
Well, that's common in figure skating.
Is it?
Yeah.
And sitting there, because I was watching them yesterday afternoon live. I know they had it on primetime last night, but unlike Conrad, I actually pay attention to live events.
Yeah, you saw me watching. I was watching live last night.
Yeah, and I was watching the figure skating live yesterday afternoon after the show, and I noticed that they were married, and they're like just a couple tenths behind the French team for number one, and I'm sitting there thinking, I know it was very minuscule what happened to why they were behind the French team. It was a technical.
It was something with her ankle, I think.
Yes, about the skate on the ice or not long enough or twisted something. Anyway, I'm just sitting there thinking how difficult that could be with your spouse or your significant other. You work and train together, you live together, you have a life outside of figure skating, and then all of a sudden you're on the world stage, and then you're like a tenth of a point.
Like, babe,
like,
you
why did you
turn that triple axel? The triple axel. That's your go-to, babe.
Because
what happened?
Was I right there? Didn't they say, like, it was something with her skate?
It was something, like, so small.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you really know about skating, you would have never caught it.
Like me and you would have been like,
because I watched
that
the replay,
great.
and I was like, it looks normal to me.
I couldn't get into the team skating.
That we won a gold?
Yeah.
We sure did.
It doesn't make me less of an American. It was really, I didn't really understand it.
All you know is we won a gold.
We did.
So
Okay.
that's,
But I am dialed in on the curling. And you guys taught me something about the curling stones.
I'm excited for men's hockey as well.
Yeah, and I will give, believe it or not, Conrad, although that he is not someone that cares for the Olympics, he's the one that actually told me this. Would you like to tell everybody in our audience about the curling stone, Conrad, that you shared with me? See, I'm giving him credit.
The curling, I'm Pat, I appreciate you giving me credit for something, but I don't think I was the one that shared that.
I knew it. I knew that good information didn't come from him, Pat. I told you that when you told me. I was like, there's no way that Conrad gave you that good stuff.
Well, actually, you know what I think he did? I think he forwarded me the story.
And he never read it.
And he never read it.
Conrad.
Because it came from Conrad.
Rad.
All curling stones come from a small island off the coast of Scotland.
That's pertinent information right there.
Well, it is good. That's really good information. We know that the sand trap at Augusta National, that comes from one quarry
Ailsa Craig.
in South Carolina, the sand
It's an
does.
island, right? Right off
Yes.
of.
But who was the first cat that was like, you know what? This is fun, but you know where the best stones are. It's right off the coast of where? Scotland?
Scotland.
Scottish stones. It's a type of a granite, if I'm not mistaken.
Boy, the Italians, they were struggling with the ice yesterday. That guy was trying to figure it out. I guess it's a lot like reading a green.
I could have swore that you sent it to me. Was it not you?
No, I just went back and looked because I was like, man, did I just really
no.
just completely forget something that I sent you? But no, I did not send that.
Well, I'm
That's
sorry.
very unlike you to
I
give
should
credit,
Yeah.
Well, now
number
Pat's
one,
never going
just
to
to
give me
give
credit
credit.
for anything again.
but to falsely give credit to Conrad.
Okay, now it's bothering me because someone sent it to me. I did not know that fun fact, and somebody sent it to me.
FSU Dave.
That's a very good
See, that was my
possibility.
first guess was that Dave probably sent that.
All right, I'm going back now and checking
I hope I'm right.
out.
Because that would be something that FSU Dave would absolutely say.
I sent you the thing about the kidney stones, Pat. That was different.
Wrong stone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a high-quality granite. The green granite is for the body of the stone. It's found on one end of the island. And the blue granite for the running surface of the stone is on the other side.
How big's the island?
I don't think it's very big.
So they've got a monopoly on the curling stones. Something good has just happened, Landrum. See what you. Oh, sorry, it was in something else.
That was a flash.
Are we in an intermission
That
already?
was the quad god.
Yeah, I know. Are we in
Yeah.
an intermission now?
I think we are.
Okay.
I'm trying to see who the powerhouse is. I know Bemidji State, really good curling programs.
There it is, Isla Craig. See, it's just a little island.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know Arizona State has a curling team?
I did not know that.
Do they really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Someone
kinda
just
random,
texted
isn't
in
it?
and said that island is uninhabited and only one country has the rights to mine the stones from that island.
There you go.
And I assume that's the
United States.
United Kingdom?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay.
Creighton has a curling team?
Scotland, we're coming for your
No
stones.
idea. We have a curling team at
At Nebraska?
I had no idea.
Molly, you
Molly,
never
you
danced
did-
for curling?
No, I didn't.
Molly might
Scrub,
have been
scrub,
on
scrub, go big
Wait
red.
a minute. I need to do some research on this.
She might have been on the curling team. Forget about cheering for them. She might have been on the team.
Have you seen the shoes that they wear there on the ice? Looks kind of like a bowling shoe, but it's a special shoe to make them slide.
Her and Scott Frost could have been on the mixed doubles Nebraska curling team.
Maybe not.
Would he have been the one with the broom? Or is he the one leading with the pitch? What do
Wait,
they
this
call it,
is
a pitch?
awesome. I had no. I think it's a club team.
It's a
But
club
that's
team.
still really cool. I had no idea.
Things you learn here on Three Man Front,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to
The
curling.
governing body of collegiate curling in the U.S. is the College Curling USA.
Gotcha.
They handle all the rules. But, yeah, Nebraska.
Oh, Wisconsin. They won gold last year for college.
Oh, no, yeah. So
Yeah. Wow, Wisconsin. They're really good
Penn
at curling.
State, Princeton, Harvard, Colorado School of Mines.
What does Colorado School of Mines doesn't do good? You know what I'm saying?
Right?
True.
I know.
They
one
are a
thing
special teams factory.
they
Oh,
produce
Minnesota
punters.
State Mankato. They're on here.
Yeah, John Hopkins. Does it cost a lot to curl? Is that a sport where you've got to be like
Curling stones are expensive.
born into privilege? Is that like a yuppie sport?
That's a great question. I do not know anything about the equipment or any of that fun stuff. Just like until people get involved in like Little League Baseball now, like you would have no idea how much those aluminum bats cost. Because back when you and I played,
Yeah.
we didn't have BB Core and we didn't have all these fancy bats like they have now that cost about $500.
The stones over $600 for
What?
the Olympic certified ones. A full
Wait.
set of 16 high-end stones cost about $10,000.
Wow.
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 Mom, Dad, I want to take up curling.
Wow.
No, you're going to be a golfer. I will buy you the
You said
$1,000
10
set
grand?
of clubs.
For
but
a set.
For
Yeah.
a
curling
set.
stones, we're going to have to sell everything, Bobby.
Jeepers.
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
I had no idea. I mean, it's granite. I mean, that's
And they only come
quality
from one
stuff.
place in the world.
Yeah, I guess that makes
Makes them
Makes sense.
expensive.
Make me appreciate my countertop more.
Hey, if Gringo sees Landrum cutting the granite on his countertop, he's taking up curling because Landrum's not going to go pay $10,000. He's just going to rip up his top of his cabinet.
You see me showing up to a Sipco with a hand full of granite. You guys take this.
Oh my goodness, we are
What
live.
about plasma?
Yeah, or kidney.
Yeah, we're kidding.
One of the two.
I think it's still good.
All right, we are live at Social Taco. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in the Olympics. Martin Newton, the athletics director at Stanford University, he will join the program next. He is also on the men's basketball committee. He joins us next on Three Man Front. It is 11:32. We are live at Homewood at Social Taco. Thanks for tuning us in. This is three-man front on a Tuesday, here each and every Tuesday from 10 until 2. Big story, Charles Bediako's eligibility. Yesterday, a judge in a courtroom in Tuscaloosa denied his eligibility, so Alabama now will be without two big men. Down low, just have the one with Aiden Sherrill. So a lot of questions in regards to this Alabama basketball team. We're going to talk about the tournament upcoming anyway, but what a great asset that we have. Just an incredible athletics director in the NCAA, and also he's in our own backyard. I'm talking about Martin Newton, who's the athletics director at Samford University. He is also vice chair of course, the men's basketball committee. He'll take over as the chairperson next year for Sunbelt Commissioner, and he joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. I hope you're doing well, Martin. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys. I'm doing great, but I just realized you guys are at Social Taco, and I was hoping for an in-person invite for this show.
Well, listen,
Pat.
Martin. It's the doors are open. You're a busy man. You're running Samford. You're involved with the men's basketball committee. I didn't want to.
Martin, we will stretch for 5 minutes if you can get over here.
Yeah, if you're in your car, come on. We'll set you up. I know you've been here to Social Taco many times.
Oh, I love Social Taco. All of those, I spent a lot of time over at that little area, so it's a great place. But no, I would probably not get much done the rest of the day. I would need a nap.
There's no doubt about it. All right, so Martin, with this situation with Charles Bediako, there's a lot of questions, and from the point of view of someone that is on the men's basketball committee, and you have been on this committee, and I know you guys are tasked with a lot of interesting things and questions that come up with the process of trying to seed these teams and getting teams in the tournament. But have you ever seen a situation where maybe perhaps the eligibility of a player, not an injury, but an eligibility of a player has garnered so much conversation about the potential of a seeding of a team?
No, and I've been on the committee. This is going into my fourth year, and that it has not come up. But some of the other issues that you're seeing in college athletics have not come up either. I mean, this is just we're in uncharted waters, right? And so I think everybody's trying to figure out and do the best they can to provide student athletes with opportunities, but also to do it within the rules. So no, this is something that is new. This is something that we'll address, and there's been a lot of conversation about. But if you look at it from our perspective, from the committee's perspective, our job is to evaluate the teams as they're constructed, and player availability being a big factor in that. But we don't really get into it's not our purview to consider why. For example, is it injuries, is it suspension, whatever it might be. We're just to evaluate those teams as they're constructed.
Martin, just from a basketball perspective, and you have a great one, when you look at this Alabama basketball team, how do you view them without Bediako? How do you view them with Charles Bediako?
Well, I think they were 3-2. I mean, all you can do is look at what their record was with him. I think they were 3-2 with him, and I think there was, you could make an argument, and I've actually said this to a few people, that sometimes bringing in somebody in the middle of a season who wasn't with you in July or August or September, and when you're trying to – teams aren't made during the season. Teams are made at the beginning, right? I mean, we talk about athletes. No athlete's going to – you can't all of a sudden start working in November to be a good basketball player. You got to start working in May, June, July. So I think there may have been some disruption. So, but then I think as he got his legs under him and people got accustomed to playing with this new member of the team, then maybe they got a little bit more comfortable. But I think from a committee standpoint, we deal with a lot of player availability. Some of them are, you look at Kansas, for example, you got the Peterson issue. I mean, he's missed, I think, 11 games. So how do you judge Kansas? Well, it's kind of the same thing with Alabama. We're going to have to figure out how to judge Alabama based on when they had not just Bediako, but all the other injuries that they've had.
So, and again, I'm not putting words in your mouth, Martin, but just because we get this question a lot over the last, 12 to 16 hours in regards to Alabama potentially being penalized in regards to maybe a vacation of those 3 wins, or the NCAA will look at the team completely different. Has that conversation come up at all, or has the NCAA pointed out anything in particular in regards to Alabama?
No, from a compliance standpoint, nobody has said anything. I don't think any decisions have been made. The judge made his ruling yesterday, and I think Charlie Baker stated, quite frankly, that he was ecstatic with that rule for all the other unintended consequences that can happen, whether you agree with it or not. But again, just from a committee's perspective, whatever the NCAA, if they came out and said that those games are considered to be voided, vacated, then obviously the committee will have to take that into effect. But as it stands right now, all we are worried about is the availability based on that team. And again, we don't consider why they were suspended or why they were ineligible or whatever else. We just focus on the availability of that team. That team as they are constructed.
And Martin, we realize that, like you do, and you having to deal with it much more. We talk about it and discuss it at length, but it does seem like a lot of this, it's upside down, it's a mess, it's unlike anything that we've ever had to traverse in intercollegiate athletics. But what ultimately, when it comes to the European players, what ultimately do you think, from just a basketball standpoint, maybe the NCAA needs to look at? And a lot of these things are being highlighted because of the Charles Bediako case.
Yeah, and again, I think there are points of distinction in this one. And again, I don't, whether you're on the side that you agree he should have been able to play because of what happened with some other schools, and I'm not even going to get into that because that's a legal argument that you could make. But as it relates to the European players, we've got to get an understanding of the European League. And I will tell you this, Garth Glissman, who's with the SEC right here in Birmingham, has a better understanding of this because of his work dealings with the NBA. And so there's so many different levels of European professional basketball. Their system is just different. So you could play you could play for Benetton club team, for example, but you may be one of the lower club teams. So you may be playing against high school age kids or college age kids, or you could be in the top tier of the European leagues. And so I think, again, you've got to take all of that into effect. And I think the NCAA's got to look at that as well as the NBA. I think it's a combination of bringing the NBA folks in and talking about their process as it relates to the draft. The thing that concerns me about having any player that has gone through this system, knew the eligibility rules, and then tried to come back and play in the system, then what does that do for the future? So, for example, every player would leave their name in the draft. Every player would stay in the draft and come back if they didn't get drafted, and then now they're considered free agents. So imagine you're sitting in a situation where you've got a team I'll take the point guard at Vanderbilt, for example. He goes into the draft, leaves his name in the draft, stays in the draft, but decides to come back to school in September. And then all of a sudden, mid-season, the NBA, because he's now a free agent, the NBA decides to pull him up, and he goes and plays a 10-day for an NBA team, and then he comes back to Vanderbilt mid-season. We can't have that. So I think we've got to evaluate that whole draft process and evaluate the European part of that as well. It's where this fits into the system.
Martin Newton, the athletics director of Samford University, joining us here on Three Man Front, also a member of the men's basketball committee. He is vice chair. He will be the Grand Poobah. He'll be the chairman next year of the NCAA selection committee. So let's actually talk about this season, Martin, because with obviously us covering the Southeastern Conference like we do, it's safe to say that there's not going to be 14 SEC teams that's going to make the tournament like it did last year. A lot of parity, especially in this league. You look across the game. You had Arizona lose last night in a great game there at Fogg Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, against the Kansas Jayhawks. Overall, how would you if you could summarize what you're seeing across the land in college basketball? Is there more parity this year, let's say more so than last year, or is it just kind of the same?
Well, I think if you look at it from an SEC perspective, there definitely is. The SEC was so top-heavy last year, but yet the entire league was good. But it was funny. Every Sunday I spent about 3 hours going through my spreadsheets and ranking teams and moving them and scrubbing them. And so I'm looking at my spreadsheet from this year to last year at this time, and you looked at the top 4 or 5 seeds, and they were all SEC teams. And this year, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, really, I have to get down to maybe the 3 or 4 seed line before I start seeing an SEC team. Now, that does not mean the SEC is not good. If you look at it from a metric standpoint, the SEC leads all the conferences with 10 teams that are in the top 40 of the net, the WAB, and Ken Palm. So it's still a really good league. It's just probably not as top-heavy where you had that Auburn and Florida and Alabama and Tennessee last year that were all vying for number one seeds. And then you look at it from a nationwide, I just think there's just parity because of the transfer portal, because of being able to assemble these rosters and pay for these rosters. And those teams that have been able to get old and stay old, I think you're seeing that a little bit in the landscape of college basketball. Then you take some of these freshmen. This year, we've seen this is probably the best freshman class top to bottom in the NCAA that I can remember. And you take a team like Duke that was able to stay old, but then also bring in a Carlos Booz, a Michigan who got old by bringing in Yaxel from UAB and what he's been able to do for that team. Arizona being able to bring some guys back, but then throwing Burries into the mix. He's one of the top freshmen in the country. So Houston, it's the same. It's really an interesting dynamic this year of teams that were able to stay old, yet have some really talented freshmen in the mix as well.
And because we have the net rankings, it's a lot easier for us to at least identify those teams that are going to be in the conversation when you guys meet to decide ultimately who's going to be a part of the field, Martin. But for a team like Auburn, and you brought them up, stark contrast from that team, how it was built from a year ago, strength of schedule has got to be in their favor. But as we look at overall wins and conference wins, you look at the rest of their schedule, it's going to really be a chore for them to get to that 20-win mark. How does the committee view that as far as overall wins, strength of schedule, and how close do you need to be at 500 or above in your conference?
You know, we really don't get into the nut. You know, it used to be back in the day, if you won 20 games with it, you were on the bubble and you had a chance to get in the tournament. We've got so many tools available for us right now. You know, I, for example, and the rest of the committee, but I really focus on when I'm going through my spreadsheet, I've got 3 result-based metrics that I really focus on. The WAB, which is wins above bubble, which if you look at what Auburn has done with their wins above bubble, I think they're 32. That's strong, right? An average bubble team is going to be at that 45 to 50 range. Auburn is 32 in the WAB. If you look at the KPI, which is another results metric, they're 32. If you look at the strength of record, another results-based metric, they're 32. And then you take the predictive measurements, and they're still in that same range. So all of those measurements together, Auburn's on paper looks really good. Now, to your point, they may finish sub 500 in the league, but the fact that they went out and challenged themselves with the number 2 net strength of schedule, man, it's hard to argue that they shouldn't be right there in the mix. Now they still got some work to do. They can't tank the rest of the season. But I just think because they challenge themselves, because they played a tough schedule, they do have some good wins. The win at Florida was a great win, and their metrics are telling you that this is a good basketball team. I think Auburn's right in the mix.
Couple more minutes with Martin Newton, the athletics director at Sanford. Let's talk about your school. Lenny Acuff, his first season, 6-6 right now in the Southern Conference. A lot of exciting basketball over on your campus right now. Just your thoughts on what's going on with the Bulldogs on the basketball court.
Yeah, Lenny's done a good job. I get a kick out. I heard a guy on ESPN talking the other day about Bucky coming in, and he was the last Power 4 coach hired, and how difficult it was to put a roster together, and I don't disagree with that at all. All of those are facts. I mean, I can remember being on the phone at the Final Four with the Texas A&M AD talking about Bucky, and he's exactly right. However, Lenny was hired 2 weeks later. So the fact that he had to go find a roster, put together a roster where we needed 12 new players, I think he's done a remarkable job. And I think what you're seeing now is that this team is starting to get comfortable with themselves. We've won 3 in a row. We've got a big game Wednesday at home against Wofford, who's surprisingly one of the best teams in our league right now. They're playing really well. So I think he's getting them ready at the right time. You know, at our level, what matters is those 3 days in March.
Yep.
And I fully expect to see us, if you can get that first round bye, I fully expect to see us with an opportunity just like anybody else in our league to win that tournament and go to the big dance.
I know we're talking basketball, but let's not gloss over the incredible football staff that you've assembled, and you've hired some guy named Grass. I don't know, that John
He's
Grass
pretty
guy.
good. He's pretty good.
He's such a good man too. I tell you
He
that I
is.
told somebody I don't have many years left in this role, and to be around guys like Lenny Acuff and John Grass to finish out my career, I couldn't have asked for better people to be around with. But you look at our staff, and it's like a freaking who's who of college
It really
football
is.
royalty, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got Bear Bryant's great grandson, you've got Dabo Sweeney's son, you've got Venable's sons, two sons. I mean, Gene Chiswick's son. I mean, it's
Dabo
it's a
Sweeney's
who's who
kid.
of Dabo
Yeah.
Sweeney, yeah.
We got
yeah.
Andrew Zhao on the staff.
Yeah.
Andrew Zah, yeah. I was with all these guys this morning. We had a staff meeting. Man, they're all just wonderful. I know they're good football coaches, but they're wonderful people, and that to me is what really matters.
Well, you got a Landrum on staff, and I know that he will do really, really well. Chris Landrum.
Absolutely.
Well, the other thing I do want to point out, Martin, that and we love this in the city of Birmingham because not only in basketball but also football coming up in future schedules, UAB and Sanford are going to get together more, and I think it's important for those two sports. And it's really nice to see it. Me being a UAB grad, I always wondered when I was down on the south side, hey, why don't we play Sanford more? And now we're going to get an opportunity. Blazers and Bulldogs getting together. I know they do it in baseball and other sports, but to be able to do that now in football and basketball coming up, that's cool.
We need to get one of those games on Sanford's campus where I can walk to the game.
So you're just being
Well,
selfish there.
We're going to have a basketball game on Sanford's campus. Football would be nice to get here as well, but Protect is such a nice stadium. But I really appreciate Mark and his willingness to extend that, and Andy, and I haven't met Alex yet, but I'm for them, their willingness to be able to do that. I think it's good for the city, like you said. I think, you've got two teams, Division I teams. Granted, they're at a different level football-wise than we are, but we've had some good competitions in all of our other sports as well. And so I just think it's good for the city. It's good for sports in this city. We're going to have some fun with it, and I think there'll be good competitions as well.
More schools need to take note.
Yeah, no doubt. Martin, listen, we always appreciate it. You've never not come on, no matter what the situation, whether it's you in an airport during Selection Sunday or obviously all this mess that we've been covering for the last few weeks with Charles Bediako. But we always appreciate your candor and time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Martin.
Well, you guys are the best. I appreciate all you do to support not just Sanford, but just sports in general. So have fun, have a taco for me, and we'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
That sounds good. Thank you, Martin. That is Martin Newton, who is the athletics director at Sanford University, one of the most just great guys that you will ever have an opportunity to deal with and work around in sports media.
Just great people.
Yeah, good people over at Sanford, and he is leading that group. All right, we've got more to talk about. We'll get you updated on what's going on over in Italy with the Olympics. So much to get into straight ahead here on Three Man Front. It's such a great conversation with Martin Newton, the athletics director at Samford University, also vice chair of the men's basketball committee. He will be in that room making those tough decisions next year. It's a 2-year realm, I think, in regards to once you become the chairperson. So he has already been named the chairperson for next year and the season afterwards. So Martin always just great with his time and able to kind of explain some things with us. If you missed that interview or an interview with Nick Kelly or Mike Griffith, already in the books today, you can always download the Three Man Front podcast, take it along wherever you go. We're live at Social Taco. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Myself, Molly, and Landrum here today. Conrad back high atop Red Mountain in Homewood as we're broadcasting until 2 o'clock. So some great conversation there in regards to what Martin told us. It kind of plays off to the fact of what John Rothstein tweeted out last night, that the committee is going to look at the Alabama roster when they get in the room in regards to what players are available and what players are participating for the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's no different than what the CFP committee does that final weekend when a quarterback might be injured.
And I think the limited number of games that he participated in probably makes it a lot easier over the course of a 30-something game season for that committee. We'll continue live here from Social Taco in Homewood. We'll open it up to your phone calls and your text here on this Taco Tuesday. Join us. There's still time. We're in the square next to City Hall in Homewood. Landrum, Pat, Molly, and Conrad. We are three-man front in your home for not only college football, NCAA shenanigans, and more.